Hey guys, it's Justin Moore. My CD, Kinda Don't Care, comes out today, and my buddy Cody Allen and CMT were nice enough to invite me on his show to talk about the CD and whatever you want to ask me about being Justin Moore. Let me start answering your Ask Anything questions right now. Nick from Farmington asks, how many cowboy hats do you have and how do you store them? Actually, I don't have a ton, to be honest with you, because once they kind of get old, I throw them out in the crowd or sign them for a charity event or something like that. So I usually keep 2 on my bus. I have a few at home that I wear around, but not very many, to be honest with you. Shauna from Mobile asks, how do you get Brantley to be on the record? I asked him. I told him he owed me a favor since I was on his last record, and we had a hit on Small Town Throwdown. Plus, we're great friends and enjoy working together. So, Betty's in Cleveland, and she says, how many songs didn't make it onto the album? Does it take you long to pick songs? Good question. We recorded, I believe, 23 or 24 songs for this album, and there are 16 songs on the album, and it's really tough to pick which ones don't make it, because obviously we like them all or we wouldn't have recorded them to begin with. But putting an album together is kind of like putting a puzzle together. You know, there may be songs that you love, but they just don't, for whatever reason, fit whatever project you're doing. So, all right, next is Sherry from Montreal. If you went to karaoke night, what 3 songs would you perform? Wow. My go-tos are usually Dwight Yoakam, Streets of Bakersfield, if I can find a duet partner, like Buck Owens. For whatever reason, I've always done Purple Rain, and we're actually doing that in our show right now to kind of honor Prince. And then Desperado, the Eagles, which we also have been doing in our show to honor Glenn Frey. So that's the 3. Paula from Spokane's next, and she says, do you ever look at a map and can't believe how many towns you've been to? Any cities you haven't been to yet? I'm sure there's cities, obviously, that we haven't been to, but up until this year, we had been to 48 of the 50 states, and the 2 states that we had not been to were Hawaii and Alaska. We just did Hawaii, and Alaska's next, which we have booked. And so it's kind of amazing when you think about a kid from a little bitty town in Arkansas having seen every state in our nation. It's pretty cool. All right, Anna from Knoxville asked, do any of your childhood friends ever travel with you on the road? They do, Anna. I actually live back in Arkansas where I'm from. And so, when we're back home, my best friends that I grew up with are still my best friends. That's who I go to dinner with, and my wife and I hang out with. And, they all have jobs that require them to be back home, but periodically they do travel with me on the road, and it's always fun when I can get them out on the bus to see kind of my world and my side of things. So Teddy from Denton asks, if I stole your phone, who would be the most famous person in it? Well, I guess that would depend on who you ask. If you're asking me, the most famous person in my phone's Brett Bielema, the head football coach of Arkansas, because that, to me, is the most important one. But I've got, clearly I've made friends with a lot of people who are a lot more famous than me. Some of the most ridiculous ones to me are the guys from Motley Crue, who I did a duet with. We re-recorded Home Sweet Home a couple of years ago, and to scroll through your phone and see Vince or Nikki Sixx in your phone is kind of ridiculous. So I guess it would depend on who you ask. But all right, Carolyn from Portland says, do your daughters love being on the tour bus? They do. Actually, so much so that when they come on the road with me, they never want to go to the show. They just want to stay on the bus and play on iPads and do all that stuff. But I love bringing them out. And what we usually do when we bring them out is during the day we'll try to find a zoo, or we go to a bowling alley or a movie or something like Chuck E. Cheese or something like that. But yeah, they actually enjoy coming out. So Tori is in Syracuse, and she says, "Do you get back to see many Razorback games?" I do, actually. We kind of make our schedule around those games, as ridiculous as that sounds. I have season tickets and have had for a few years, and we try to use as many of them as we can. I think there are 5, 6 home games maybe this year, and I'll get to maybe at least half of them, maybe 4. So, Jennifer from Brooklyn asks, how long will you be on the road with Brantley? We finish up with BG in mid-October at in Red Rocks 2 nights consecutively. So, looking forward to that. Allie from Charleston asks, how many times can you listen to your new CD before you even say, that's too much, Justin, for me? 0. I don't ever hardly listen to myself. And the funny thing is, by the time an album comes out, we're already thinking about a new album, because we've lived with these songs for some of them years now. So they're kind of, what's new to you guys is old to us. We've been listening to them for a long time. So, but I hope you guys enjoy them. Wendy from Harrisburg asks, hey Justin, I'm going to see you at the Rockingham County Fair show next week. What can we expect to see during the show? Any surprises? Mediocrity at best. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully high energy, and you'll see a lot of hit records, and we're playing a couple of new things, so you'll get a little preview of the new stuff, and hopefully our goal is for you to leave there feeling like you got your money's worth. So that's the goal. Andrew from Auburn asks, have you ever played at a casino? What's it like to do a show there? Yeah, Andrew, we've played a lot of casinos over the years. They're fun. The casinos themselves really take good care of you. It's usually an early show, which is a little different for us, and it's a different setting. We just played one actually a couple of nights ago, but I enjoy playing all kinds of different shows, and casinos included. So, Jordan from Columbus asks, how did You Look Like I Need a Drink come about? I was playing Stagecoach, which is a festival out west near Palm Springs in California, and I got a CD or an email file of 20 songs, and this was right at the beginning of recording this album, and I always read through the titles before I listen to anything, and that was the first title that really stood out to me. So I listened to the song, and it was right up my alley, and we went in and recorded it. And as we were discussing first singles from this album, we went with that because we had been away from radio with new music for a long time, 6-8 months, and we decided to come back with something that kind of would be a familiar sound from me for you guys. So we're thrilled that it's doing so well. Hope you like it. Nancy from Minneapolis asked, if you could have a gangsta rapper name, what would you pick? I don't know that I would pick anything. I will say that I do like some gangsta rap. I had an opportunity to meet and hang out with Snoop a Loop last year, and he was really, really cool. So I don't know. Little Snoop maybe, I don't know. Vicky from Shreveport asked, when I bought a hat on your website, it said the Roost. What does that stand for? The Roost is the name of my fan club, and it came from, originally that's our logo as a fighting cock, and that came from, my first single was called backed that thing up, and it had a rooster crowing at the beginning of it. And so when we were trying to come up with something as far as logo-wise, we decided to go with the fighting cock. And so it's on every piece of merchandise I have. It's on every CD I have, and it's in my bus and stuff. So that's the Roost is where that came from. So, all right, guys, I want to thank you again for sending all these great questions about Kinda Don't Care, which you can buy today. Don't forget. What can I say about Cody Allen and CMT? They've always supported me, and I can't thank them enough, to be honest with you. I love them. Appreciate them. Thanks again to all the fans out there that took the time to send in a question. Hope to see you soon on the road.